What's up, everybody out there? This is Aaron here to show you the similarities and differences between right here the Fableds and the Darkworlds. Now, what's very similar to them is that they are discarding cards, discarding monsters. Awesome. So, further ado, here we'll start up with the similarities between them. First off, the main one, we'll use Morphin Jar. When Morphin Jar, of course, when flipped, discard your hand and your opponent's hands, then each draw 5 cards. The Darkworlds and the Fableds all have effects when they're discarded. So first, I'll show you what the Fableds do. What's similar to Darkworld is that there are different varieties of the Fables. The Grimro, Krust, Kashano, Raven, Mizuchi, and the Chawa. The Chawa is you can discard a Fabled plus itself to special summon the Chawa, and if there was an effect, which there are effects to the Fableds, their effects also go because they are discarded. The Mizuchi, you can discard one Fabled monster and special summon this card from your hand. When this card is special summoned this way, you can special summon one level 2 or lower Fabled monster from your hand. So again, discarding. When Raven is on the field, you can discard as many number of cards, and if you do this, gain 1 level. And it gains 400 attack for each card you discarded until the end phase. Kushano. Discard one Fabled monster to the graveyard, except Fabled Kushano. Add this card from your graveyard to your hand. The Ganasha. Forgot that's the way you say it, Ganasha, my mistake. When this card is discarded to the graveyard, special summon it. If this card is special summoned this way, it gains 200 attack, but it is removed from play when this card is removed from the field. Most likely destroyed. The Krust. When this card is discarded to the graveyard, select one level 4 or lower Fabled monster in your graveyard, except this card, and special summon it. And then for Grimro, when you have a Fabled on the field, you can discard this card to search one Fabled monster from your deck to your hand, except itself. So those are the effects of Fableds. Now I'll go with the Darkworlds. So, Grapha, Snow, Gold, Silver, Brown, and Beige. See? Okay, varieties, different kinds, just like the Fables. Ganasha, my mistake. We'll go with Beige. Beige is when discarded, special summon it. Brown, when discarded, draw a card. Silver, when discarded, special summon this. Gold, when discarded, special summon it. Snow, when discarded, search for any Darkworld card that's named Darkworld from your deck to your hand. Grapha, when discarded, target one card on the field, destroy it. When you have a Darkworld monster on the field, you can put that card back to your hand to special summon Grapha. So what's similar to them, they all have effects. Now I'll explain of how their effects are similar also. So we'll start off with Grimro and the Snow. Now I'll speak about right now how they're similar. What's similar to them is their searchers for what their names are. The Grimro special searches for Fableds. Snow searches for Darkworld. So if you look at that right here, of course, discard. When Snow is discarded, it searches for any card that's called Darkworld. When Grimroll is sent to the graveyard, when you have a Fabled on the field, search for any card that's called Fabled. So that's similar to them right there. They're searchers. And of course, yeah, they cannot be except itself. No, Snow can, my mistake. That's a difference. The Grimroll cannot search for itself. The Snow can. Now I'll speak about some differences between these two cards. So, there you go. Similar. And then what's different about them is, like I just said, I don't know why I'm saying it, but I'll just say it again. It can search for itself if you want to. It cannot search for itself. And the difference is when discarded. Now Grimroll, what's different about the Snow is that you must have a Fabled on the field. And you can send it to the graveyard. Snow has to be discarded by a card effect. So that's the difference also between them. It can be sent when you have a Fabled on the field. This has to be discarded by a card effect and search for anything that's called Darkworld. So similar right there. They're what's similar to them, your searchers. What's different about them is how the effects work of searching for rather your Fabled or your Darkworld. What's also similar to them, they're both 17 attackers. They're level 4s. Now, okay, another difference I'll explain right now. All the Fableds are light monsters. All the Darkworld monsters are dark. That's a difference also between the Fableds and the Darkworlds. The Fableds are lights, the Darkworlds are dark. Next I'll show you Grapha and Crus. Now Grapha, when it's in the graveyard, you can summon a Fabled, return it to your hand, special summon from the graveyard. Now here's how it's similar to Crus. When it is discarded and sent to the graveyard, you special summon a Fabled. Now what's similar to them is they special summon they special summon one from the graveyard. No matter what it is. So yeah, Darkworld, you revive it. With the Crus, you revive one. So it's similar to the Crus and Grapha are somewhat similar also, because they get revived. The only difference is it's by itself. Crus brings a different one out, except itself. So a similarity right there. What is similar to the gold, beige, brown, silver, Ganesha, is of course, yes, they special summon. When discarded, they special summon. Similar right there also. My mistake, the browse, when it's discarded, you draw a card. Now what's similar to these, again, I just said right now, they get discarded, they special summon from the field, from the graveyard to the field. Similar right there. The difference is you have one that can help you draw a card. Fables don't have that. A difference also between them, if you looked right here at the... Okay, now look at this. The Darkworlds do not have tuners. The Fableds do have tuners. Darkworld doesn't, Fables do. That's a difference also right there. A difference also, the Fables have low attacks, but the Darkworlds do have high attacks. With the Darkworlds, all of them are fiend monsters. Some of the Fabled are different kinds. Grimmel's a fiend. Crush is a fiend. Raven is a fiend. Kushano's a fiend. But the Kanasha, Mizuchi, and the Chawa are beasts. So a little difference also. Not all the Fableds are fiend monsters. All the Darkworlds are. They're just by one actual thing. They are just fiends. Some of the Fableds are, but not all of them. So not the whole entire of Fableds are the same. But the Darkworlds are. So Fiend, but some of them are also a different variety, which are beasts. So yeah, Morphin Jar, discard them, they're all gonna get effects. We'll go with magic cards now, how they're similar and how they're different. What's similar is card destruction, drag down into the grave, Darkworld dealings. Now, okay, card destruction. Discard your entire hand and draw as many cards as you discarded. Again, discard. So whatever you discarded, they're possibly you're gonna get their effects. Like again, you need a card effect to search. You can maybe special summon one from the graveyard. Special summon it from the field. Darkworld dealings, draw a card, discard a card, and they're gonna get their effects. Drag down into the grave. You and your opponent look at each other's hands. Select one card from each other's hands and discard them to the graveyard, then draw a card. So again, same thing. Discarding. The only little thing is you need Grimrow in your hand to search. So if Grimrow is just thrown away by card destruction or Darkworld dealings, it won't get its effect. But Snow will, because it's by a card effect and sent to the graveyard. So card destruction, drag down into the grave, and Darkworld dealings are similar to getting effects of your Darkworlds and your Fables. Gates of the Darkworld, the field spell for Darkworlds, but it can also work for fiend type monsters. So your Darkworlds are all fiends, but then what I showed you, some of them, the Fables, are fiends. So if you had the Fabled Grimro out and it's a 17 attacker, no, it would gain for what Darkworld Gates of Darkworld is, because it gains for all fiends. So your Grimro would go to a 2000 attacker. Now it says right here also, you can banish one fiend type monster from your graveyard, then discard one fiend monster, then draw one card. Now particularly also, most people would just do, again, the Darkworld effect, which is, yeah, throw away a Darkworld and draw your card. But what you could also do is, if you don't need the Fables in the if you just want to get rid of your Fables since they're in the graveyard, you can remove also the Fables right here because they're fiends. So remove, discard a fiend, draw a card, because these right here are fiends. So that's Gates of the Darkworld. It could work also with your Fables. So that's the similarity of using Gates of Darkworld. It can also be used for the Fables, for the ones that are fiends. Now we got the little difference. Gateway to the Darkworld. This card can target one monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. You cannot special summon other monsters the turn you activate this card. So it's like a monster reborn to bring out a Darkworld, and it's a quick play. Fables don't have a card like that where it can just special summon one already from the graveyard back to the field. So, Gateway to the Darkworld. Now, okay. Hand Destruction. Each player sends 2 cards from their hand to the graveyard, then draw 2 cards. Now, okay, here's the thing about Hand Destruction. Here's the thing. When you have to pay a cost like Hand Destruction, here's a little difference to them also. If you look at the rules and what they say, okay, they say discard. Now in the rules, if you look at the rules and it may sound similar, okay, yeah, they say discard. When you discard a Darkworld, like I says, yeah, discard. So when you send away by a card effect of like Hand Destruction, you will not get the effects of the Darkworlds. But when you throw away a Fabled, you do get the effect. Now again, it might sound a little like, how is that possible? No, if it may sound, to tell you the truth, in the rules, that's the difference. So even if you discard 2 cards, so even if you throw away your Crus and the Ganasha, you played Hand Destruction, your draw was whatever 2 cards, Ganasha, the effect, special summon. Crus, discard, special summon one from the graveyard. Now if it was, let's say your Snow, well, Snow and Brow, you played Hand Destruction, that was paying a cost, so the effects would not work. When you pay a cost with the Fables, they do work. That's a difference right there also. May sound weird, but yeah. So that's the difference between them also. Paying a cost, Darkworlds will not go, but the Fables do. Now here we go, some trap cards. Phoenix Wing Blast, Karma Cut. Again, you have to pay a cost of discarding 1 card from your hand. These are cost plays also. Phoenix Wing Blast, you must discard 1 card to target one card in your opponent's, return that card to the top of the deck. Again, paying a cost. So if you did a Darkworld, the effect won't go. If you did a Fabled, it will go. Camera cut. Discard one card from your hand. Remove from play one face-up monster on your opponent's side of the field. If there is a card or cards in your opponent's graveyard with the same name as the removed monster, also remove that from play to that cards or cards. So that's another thing also. You pay a cost, but the Darkworld monsters effects won't go, but the Fableds do. So similarities and differences. Now another difference of what I just said is, okay, the Fableds have tuners, but the Darkworlds don't. But what Fableds also have are synchro monsters. So if you have tuners of Fables, then you must have some Fabled synchro monsters. Darkworlds do not have synchro monsters nor tuners. And there are only 4. There's the Unicorn, Kudabi, the Valkyries, and the Leviathan. Now, okay, they all have pretty high attacks. And of course, yeah, they all intend to work. And how the combos work with them are pretty decent also. So we'll start off here with the Kudabi. You need a Fable tuner. So these require you need a Fable tuner. This card gains the following based on the number of cards in your hand. If you have 0 cards in your hand, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. When you have 3 or more, discard this card during the end phase. Okay. The Unicorn. While you and your opponent have the same number of cards in your hand, negate all spell, trap, and effect monsters activated by your opponent and destroy that spell trap card monster. Okay. The Valkyries. Once per turn, you can discard 1 fiend type monster to draw 1 card. Okay. Leviathan. When this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can add 3 Fabled monsters in your graveyard and add them to your hand. Now, of course, yeah, this deck is all by discarding. So those are pretty much the differences. Fableds have tuners and synchro monsters. Darkworlds do not. Darkworlds have high attack monsters. Fableds do not. Darkworlds are all fiends. Fableds are not all fiends. Darkworld are dark monsters. Fabled are light monsters. When you have to pay a cost and you did a Darkworld, it doesn't get its effect. But if you throw away a Fabled and it was a cost, it does get the effect. Fableds have tuners. Darkworlds do not. Darkworlds have a way to revive them by a spell card. Fableds do not. So these are the similarities and differences between the Fableds and the Darkworlds. I hope you all enjoyed this. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll show you more deck profiles later. Peace.